I want to talk about the 3-year-olds. We're starting to thin them out a little bit. There's less of them left, but man, we had such a great year with a lot of these sophomores. It was just a tremendous run, just a great year across the board with all our horses, and the 3-year-olds that we have been pulling the weight. We do have some new ones, and we moved some other ones out. Absolute Euphoria. I didn't know if she'd get around Delaware. She's a big filly. She never really got around a half grade. She still pays 54, in with good horses, but not built real good for a half just yet. A decent mile from Absolute Euphoria in Ohio in Jug Week. A Sliver of Fashion. We've raced him 2 times. He has 2 wins. Back in the same class this week. Now, I don't know. We'll see how he transitions through the classes and if we run into any hurdles or any roadblocks. But for right now, it seems like this horse has been a great pickup and looks like he's in a great spot here in Ohio. Brace for Landing made a break the other day. That was his first break since qualifying back after being castrated. Just looked a little out of sorts at the gate, and I had said to Megan, she said, well, we'll see how he goes next week. Well, we will. If he makes a mistake this week coming up or doesn't look sharp, then we can maybe look at what other options we have with Brace for Landing. But I'm certainly not going to draw any conclusions from one start or one break. Not what we wanted to see, but he's going to do that from time to time. I can guarantee you it's not the last break he'll ever make in his life. Cash Deals ended up injured right before the last leg. She's been fighting an injury to her tendon. Just a mild one that was, first it was just pesky, then it was a little more, and it ended up being an injury. So she's going to be off for a little while. It's done really, really good work for us this year, and not the way you want to see the season end, but much like Aaron Rodgers, I guess you can never predict when stuff like this is going to happen. And hopefully Cash Deals makes it back quickly and we can get her back going. Coupe de Ville is in to go. Man, she has had a tremendous last part of the season. Man, she's been awesome. Just jogged in that fair and then just beat in the consolation final. In the consolation. She'll be in the Buckeye consolation next weekend, but for this Wednesday I'm going to race her in the... It's a salty enough bunch. Now we're straight numbers of 4. Cupid Express is over. She will rejoin the LASIX program. She is over in Pennsylvania. There was a few little spots found, both in her race with Mark and then with Tim training. So the decision was made to maybe put her on LASIX for her next race, and obviously for obvious reasons. Cutie Cumber is racing this week also. You'll see both her, Horn Player, Swinging Senorita. There may be a couple more end up in Harrisburg, but for right now, Cutie Cumber, I just love to see her. I would love to see this filly get a good mark before the Harrisburg sale. Five Fish Species, not many horses have been sharper than she has for us through the latter part of the season. She's got like 60 or 70,000 made now, and has taken great marks in the Excelsior Series in New York. He's finished second and raced gritty as hell to be second in that series. So very happy with her. Gandalf the Black, had a great conversation with Dominic. He said, are you going to move him to the States? And I said, we need to find a class for him in the States. I'm not moving him to somewhere he's just going to get beat up. If I can show you a path where he is going to go on the track, and I've said this a million times, bet down favorite, a horse that should do in that field. One, where he can race consistently and competitively and do well, then yes, we will move him. But I don't think that class is found at the Meadows. And now that we know he can get around a half, Yonkers might be in play. It's a horse with 3 wins, shows 54 on a half-mile track. This guy could be rounding in a horse who could do us some good at Yonkers. And I know there's a lot of my clients that say, I don't want to go to New York. Guys, I get it. But we got to race the horses where they can do the best. And whether it's Ohio, Pennsylvania, or New York, then one of those 3 is likely it. And if it's Ontario, fine. But I just find that going over to Flamborough to race for $8,000 or $9,000, which translates to about $6,500 US, you're wasting wins. If he goes over and wins, you've actually lost money because you could have made a lot more racing in another place. So that's what we have to. And people may not like that, but we have to do what's right for the group, what's right for the horse, and what's right for everybody. And finding the place where he's going to do the most damage, both on the track and financially, makes the most sense for us right now as we head into the fall. Halakai the Third, or Halakai 3, I don't even know why, but why they named the horse that, but she was long gone winner the other night, and I pulled the earplugs, and she completely pulled up. So there'll be no earplugs in her this week. She has got a little soft on the end of the mile. We thought it was Lasix. We added Lasix to her last week. She felt like she was going to trot in about 55 and then ended up trotting in 58. So we'll see if we can reverse that this week with her. Lots of speed, big, strong filly. I can't wait to see her. Ollie, what are you doing? I can't wait to see. What are you doing, bud? What are you doing? I can't wait to see her race this week because I'm curious. Are you going to be better? You can never say, "Oh, it's just the earplugs." No, that's a mental thing. So, will she choose to do her work? We're going to make a few little changes with her this week, but clearly has lots of speed. Horn Player made that break on Brady Brown last week. I guess Mark is going to drive her this week. I know what happened. I thought I knew what happened when I watched the race, but then after talking to Brady, I knew. He said, I just tapped her on the tail coming off the cart. You can't do that. You got to let her kind of keep the bit in her mouth and let her get her feet underneath her, and then you can push forward. When I made front with her, if you go back and watch the race, I was literally fifth off the car. But then once I felt her hit that top gear, then I could ask her to push forward, and then she was very good. Now we're battling a break. We don't want to see her on the list. So be careful with her, but at the same time, try and get her placed as best as you can. Major Megan, that's a good class for us. Somebody said, can we not go back to Northfield? Not really. That's a numbers of 4 class. It's also very, very tough there. There's no easy class for her in either place. Now, does that mean that sooner than later, she'll be up for sale? That's possible. No, not really. She is non-winners of 4. Non-winners of 4. Yeah, but Flamborough, you got to remember, she's racing for 8,000 or 9,000 US here, which is like 12,000 Canadian, right? 11 or 12. And I don't want to make it about that, but we don't want to give money away each start also, right, before we start. So we'll see. She's a nice horse. I mean, at some point she will saturate what she can do for us. And I don't know if she's there yet or not. Maybe the week off will help too. I think she raced a bunch of weeks in a row. She felt like she did anyway. Merchant Man, just can't shake him. Cannot shake him. I couldn't give the horse away. One of our clients messaged and said they might buy him, and even what we had talked about, the price that we had talked about, I thought was rather low for him. But at the same token, we are now in that wave, right? I told you guys with that preferred sale, we were kind of on the front end of selling horses. Now the market is flooded with all these 2-year-olds and all these 3-year-olds, and there wasn't one person that interested in Merchant Man, which is a little surprising. I'm going to make a few little changes with him this week too. I want to talk to Jason about that. Making a few little changes, see if we can get him a little more racy on the track. Maybe change his shoes, take all the weight off of him, and see if he'll trot like that. He does have like 2-ounce toe weights and trotting shoes on up front. What if we just put aluminums on him and tie him down a little bit and see if he'll come forward a little more? He may or may not, but we got to try something. So we'll see what happens with Merchant Man this week. Nothing but a dream. Been racing great at the Meadows. He'll be going back to. He is in Ontario right now. We'll be racing this week. Fits the pop-up series the week after that, and then goes right into the Harvest Series shortly after that. We have to pay him into that Harvest Series. I think it's the Harvest Series. We have to pay him into that. Actually, can you look into that? It should be on the the Mohawk website or whatever. Do you know which one it is? Woodbine Mohawk. I don't know. Smoking Hot Irish Girl races in the Buckeye Final this week. She was racing great at the Meadows and then had the 7-hole in Delaware. You can pitch that line. What are you going to do from the 7-hole in Delaware? I suspect you're going to see a much more effective and better Smoking Hot Irish Girl in Dayton. In fact, last year, the best race of her 2-year-old season, I thought, was her last race, which was Dayton also. So, although she's not super familiar with the track, she did get over it very, very well last year. Spitfire Overseas was good as last start. We did do a full diagnostic of Spitfire Overseas. There was nothing serious found. Left ankle, left lower hock, maybe, which is much better than it could have been. So just minor maintenance work. He'll be in to go in the Keystone Classic. So really happy to hear that from Tim. Stay Special is jogging now. She'll start jogging full time. Steel Cowboy still had some residual infection from his castration. So Tim was worried he had a spiked temperature and his white count went up, but they got it under control now with antibiotics, and they think he's fine. It does happen once in a while. So we'll see what we do with Steel Cowboy moving forward. He's going to race this week. I hope so. I'm going to talk to Tim a little bit more about him in the coming day or so. Swinging Senorita, her next starts will be in Indiana, I believe, coming up. We'll probably get her a race, probably something for her either in Dayton or in maybe Indiana or the Meadows. We'll probably get a race at Titan or two up into her at some point in the near future. Tactical Mounds has been absolutely tremendous. Turned into her best 3-year-old this year, I guess it's fair to say. 51-4, I think she trotted last night against the best fillies in North America, and she was absolutely awesome. Unique style, a good first start. Mark's going to get another crack at him this week. He's going to race him this week. Hopefully he goes to race him this week at the Meadows. And Wallop is racing Monday. Why isn't he on the calendar? He's racing Monday in Plainridge. He's going to race at Plainridge Racecourse. Scott Zeron, who's been everywhere, won the Little Brown Jug. The next day he was in Indiana, racing in stake races there. He's at Mohawk. Him and I were talking last night. He was in our barn this afternoon with Megan getting Tactical Mounds, and he'll be heading out to Boston, out to Plainridge Racecourse in Massachusetts on, I guess Boston's an hour away. On Monday, he's going to drive Wallop, so good luck with him. Warwick Yuri races this week also. He's been a little lackluster his last couple, but he should be better this week, I would suspect. And what a mission. What a mission. I told you guys, we knew what would happen. He hadn't made any breaks all year. 2 breaks, 3 breaks. His last 2 and then 1 start where he kind of get jammed on Aaron. But his last 2, he just didn't look comfortable. Put the flip-flops back on him. Boom. Went out, won in Delaware. And flip-flops are not, it's not good footwear for Delaware County Fairgrounds. And he still went out and looked great in his victory. So very happy with him. He also is heading into Saturday's Buckeye Final, and he should be a player in that race also. So those are all your 3-year-olds. We'll come back with the 2-year-olds. You guys know which ones are turned out now, but I will give you a full rundown of all the 2-year-olds in just a second.